Hi, this is Aruj Muzaffar from the Department of English, University of Southern Punjab. I have been with you for the lectures of functional English, and in our previous lecture, we were discussing the significance of public speaking. I have told you that what is public speaking, what is the significance it is carrying, and into this digital age, what is the role of public speaking into our life. Today, we are going to discuss another aspect of public speaking where we are going to focus basically on the hurdles and the problems that we face for public speaking. First and foremost, among these problems and hurdles is the barrier, which is overcoming our fear, stage fright, voice modulation, body language, and effective delivery. Well, public speaking is recognized obviously across cultures and throughout history as one of the most influential forms of communication. Whether addressing a crowd of thousands or speaking to a small classroom, the art of expressing ideas aloud has the power to educate, inspire, persuade, and move audience into action. Yet, despite its power and importance, public speaking remains one of the most common human fears. Psychologists note that even highly competent individuals often experience stage fright. Those trembling hands, shaky voice, increased heartbeat, or sudden blankness of mind that seem to appear whenever one faces an audience. Well, all because of these barriers, mastering public speaking therefore requires not only learning techniques of delivery, organization, and rhetorics, but also developing certain strategies to overcome internal fears. In this lecture, we examine both dimensions, the skill of speaking effectively and the psychological resilience needed to speak with confidence. We explore stage fright, voice modulation, body language, and the mental discipline that transforms nervous speakers into compelling communicators. To begin with, the first and foremost point, which is essential to acknowledge that the fear of public speaking is universal and natural. Every individual, whether a student giving their first presentation or a seasoned leader addressing a nation, encounters some degree of performance anxiety. Researchers often classify public speaking fear under glossophobia, a specific form of anxiety related to speaking in front of others. The reason this fear feels so intense is partly biological. Humans are wired to avoid judgment and social rejection, and standing before an audience may feel like being placed under a spotlight of scrutiny. Historically, survival depended on acceptance from a community, and isolation could mean vulnerability. And therefore, when a speaker confronts an audience, the brain reacts as if encountering a potential threat, triggering the fight or flight response. Under this biological basis, helps speakers recognize that their fear is not a weakness but a natural instinct that can be managed. Stage fright often manifests physically and mentally. Physically, speakers may experience sweating, shaking, dry mouth, or rapid heartbeat. And mentally, they may struggle with self doubt, fear of forgetting lines, or worrying about the audience reaction. This combination creates a feedback loop. Physical symptoms heighten mental anxiety, and anxiety intensifies physical symptoms. The goal is not to eliminate fear entirely, because a certain level of adrenaline can energize and sharpen the performance, but to channel that energy constructively. Many great speakers openly admitted to nervousness before speaking. Mark Twain famously said there are two types of speakers: those who are nervous and those who are liars. Even celebrated personalities such as Adele, Abraham Lincoln, Warren Buffett, and Mahatma Gandhi too experienced anxiety early in their speaking careers. Their greatness emerged not because they lacked fear, but because they mastered it. To overcome stage fright, preparation is the first and most essential step. Fear thrives on uncertainty. When speakers are unsure of their material, unsure of their structure, or unsure of their message, anxiety increases. Through preparation, it may involve understanding the topic deeply, organizing ideas logically, and rehearsing repeatedly. Rehearsal can be done aloud in front of a mirror, recorded on a phone, or presented to a small group of friends or family. The purpose is to create familiarity with content so the mind does not panic during delivery. The more the speech is practiced, the more the speaker feels in control. And in control, this antidote to fear. In addition to preparation, visualization is a powerful psychological tool. Athletes and performers use visualization to prepare mentally for high pressure situations, and public speakers can do the same. Visualization involves imagining oneself delivering the speech successfully, hearing the strength of one's own voice, feeling calm confidence, and envisioning the audience reacting positively. This mentally rehearsed success subtly rewires the brain, reducing fear and enhancing confidence. Another helpful strategy is deep breathing, slow controlled breathing, particularly using diaphragm, counteracts the rush that we feel and face for breathing. It slows the heartbeat, relaxes muscles, and restores mental clarity. Practicing such breathing before stepping on stage can significantly reduce anxiety. Yet, even with well managed fear, effective public speaking depends basically on certain key elements that include voice modulation, body language, eye contact, pacing, and audience engagement. Voice is one of the most powerful tools of a speaker that he possesses. A monotonous voice, regardless of how intelligent the content is, will lose the audience. Voice modulation refers to the intentional variation of pitch, pace, tone, and volume to convey meaning and emotion. So, good speakers treat their voice like a musical instrument. They raise volume for emphasis, slow down during important points, soften their tone for emotional effect, and vary pitch to maintain interest. Consider the speeches of Martin Luther the King, whose rhythmic voice arises and falls in pitch, created musicality that held audience spellbound. Similarly, Barack Obama's deliberate pacing, thoughtful pauses, and measured tone illustrate how voice control strengthens credibility and enhances clarity of message. And to improve voice modulation, speakers must practice speaking aloud, record themselves, and identify patterns of monotony or weakness. Exercises such as reading poetry, practicing tongue twisters, and breathing from diaphragm may support vocal strength and clarity, and pausing is particularly important. Many nervous speakers rush through their speeches fearing silence, yet silence, when used deliberately, can be one of the most powerful rhetorical devices, giving audience time to process the message. Body language is another essential aspect of effective public speaking. Communication is basically both verbal and nonverbal, and research often suggests that nonverbal signals can carry more emotional weight than words. A speaker's posture, facial expressions, hand movements, and overall physical presence convey confidence, sincerity, and engagement. Standing tall with shoulders relaxed conveys authority. Open gestures can, such as palms facing upward, creating a sense of connection and openness. On the other hand, closed gestures like crossed arms can signal discomfort or defensiveness. So, maintaining a purposeful movement rather than pacing aimlessly helps command the stage while avoiding distractions. Eye contact is equally important. It creates a bridge between the speaker and the audience. Good eye contact tells the audience that the speaker is confident, trustworthy, and genuinely interested in communicating with them. However, effective eye contact does not mean staring intensely at a single individual, rather, it means gently scanning the room, making brief and natural connections with different segments of audience. This makes each listener feels personally addressed. Moreover, speakers must be aware of distracting habits such as excessive hand movements, repeated filler words like like, These habits can weaken credibility and shift attention away from the message. Recording oneself as practicing tool can eliminate such habits. And public speaking involves emotional intelligence as well, which is the ability to read the room and respond accordingly. A skilled speaker senses whether the audience is engaged, bored, confused, energized, and adjusts his delivery. This may include any of his example, like using humor, interacting directly with listener, pointing out to someone, and in this way a speech becomes powerful not because the speaker reads the lines mechanically, but because there is a dynamic connection between the speaker and the audience. Furthermore, speakers must learn the art of clarity and simplicity as well. Great speeches use language that is accessible, compelling, and concise, and complex ideas can be expressed in simple words as well without losing the depth. We may go through the examples of King Martin Luther, Malala Yousafzai, who had used their speech into very common person's speech terms. They have used the language which is of ordinarily used language. So we may learn these our skills by listening to them attentively. I hope this lecture gives you a good command over the barriers that are there to make your communication less effectively, and I hope it is understandable for you. Thank you so much.